If you want financial freedom, time freedom, and want to leave a legacy for generations to come, you probably have heard real estate investing is the place to do that. How do you get started? What do you have to do? When's the right time? If you are looking for those answers, you've come to the right place. My name is Kyle Stanley, and this is Fearless Flipping. My mission is to help you learn this business and conquer real estate investing. Welcome in. You are checking out episode 2 with Erin and Cleadus Shelton here in Fresno, California. I'm Kyle Stanley. This is Fearless Flipping, and I would love if you can take a moment right now to hit that review button, hit that subscribe button, and continue to leave comments if you're on the YouTube channel of what kind of deals that you're doing right now. We want to hear your deals. We want to hear what you're learning from your deals. And in doing so, you're helping out other people who are watching this as well, because they're going to see your comments and see what helpful information you have that they can learn from. So in the first episode with Erin and Cleadus, they talked about their amazing story, their inspirational story, one of a ton of struggles, not only in life, but also in this business. And now we're going to hear from them about the importance of relationships. Now, I know what you're thinking, Kyle. We've already heard about networking. We've already heard about, the importance of meeting people. Yes, you have heard about that. But what we are also talking about is what types of people do you need to meet in this crazy world of real estate investing. So what I really want you to take away from this is not, hey, it's important to network, because everyone really knows that, but hey, it's important to network with these types of people. And if you can do that, you can start getting laser focused with your networking. So let's take it away with Erin and Cleadus here in our second episode. Hey, we are back with Erin Shelton and Cleadus Shelton, the dynamic duo here in Fresno, California. So you two, you just had an amazing story to share with our audience. Thank you for being so vulnerable. Thank you for sharing all of that. And if any of our audience missed that, they need to stop right now and go back to that episode and listen, because, if you're just in a position right now where you think, I can't do this, or I don't know if I can do this, the adversity of Erin and Cleadus' story is probably more than anyone that I've heard so far. So if you can do it, then I think just about anyone can do it. Yeah. Would you agree?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
How bad do you want it?
Yeah. So now we're going to talk about exactly why you feel like you're successful today, which is all these relationships that you've built. A lot of people talk about in real estate investing, marketing strategies, exit strategies, a lot of different things. I'm a big believer in networking and relationships, but you guys are, you attribute all of your success to it. So Can we just start by, whether it's a story or just, why you believe in relationships so much?
So early on, we, as we mentioned before, we ran a bunch of properties. We would go Saturday, Sunday, all day, like looking at 10 to 12 different houses every weekend, just to get that first deal under contract. Cleadus had a friend that he had his license, but he let it lapse. So he kind of talked to, like, hey, if we pay your realtor fee, will you be our exclusive realtor and, get us into any property anytime we want? He's like, sure, absolutely. So we did that. We were waiting for him at a property that we were looking at. He was going to be a little while before he could get out there because he lives in another town. And this car pulls up. And at this time, we had my dad's house that he left to us, and we had just bought another rental property. And this car pulls up, and I was like, look, that's an agent. He looks like an agent. He's got to be an agent. So we get out of the car. I go, come on, let's go talk to him. So we get out of the car, and we went to talk to him. It was the agent that, or the broker that the house was listed under that we had just purchased.
Oh, okay.
So we're like, hey, we just bought a house from you, when he introduced himself. Come to find out, Cleadus asked for his contractor's name and number. And he's like, sure, I'll give that to you. And it's like, wow, this guy's so willing and, just to give up information. It's like, okay, obviously he didn't get there overnight, and, people have helped him along the way. But it's like, okay, well, if he's willing to just share that information, like, we should not be so forthcoming with, or standoffish with information. So I think that's where the foundation was, that just, pay it forward and whatever we have, you can have, But
it's that abundancy mindset, right?
Yeah. So come to find out, The contractor is the rental property that we bought. That was the contractor's first flip himself.
Wow.
He
Okay.
he had been flipping for other investors, but that was the first one that he did for himself. And so we connected, and he was our contractor for 3 years.
Wow.
He kind of outgrew us.
Okay.
Yeah, well, and when Erin says a car pulled up, and I'm a firm believer in everything happens for a reason, and I believe that we've been blessed along this whole journey, and people have been put in our paths from a higher perspective. That car pulling up and then being coincidence that he was a broker, and that broker is investor friendly, and that was Manny Chavez, MC Real Estate, very investor friendly, very great group of people that worked there. We worked with Manny and his team for a good 3 years. Jason and Kathy, and that's how we met Felipe, and that was a big part of our group of people that really took us in, and kind of we worked together, and but there came a point in the journey where Erin said it best, is Felipe outgrew us. He had his own projects and his own things, timelines got longer, rehab's budgets got larger, and where we had to venture out and looking for different contractors, and we through this journey, and after about 5 or 6 flips is when Brad Hardy and Wayne Rutledge had through Matt Garabedian. Actually, I met Wayne Rutledge on an unrelated event. Had to do with, I was looking for a home for some guys from coming out of one of our programs, trying to get them housed, and Matt introduced me to Wayne, and from that day forward, me and Wayne met after that, and I was come home, and I was like, it was like a bromance, because I was telling you got to meet this guy. He's awesome, and he's just a wonderful person, and he wants to take a look at our flip and this and that. So I've come home a couple times prior to that with excited about money relationships, or just relationships in general, and I introduce, and we've some of those relationships didn't work out because we find out there's not there's people,
All money ain't good money.
and all people
Right.
ain't good people, and sometimes it doesn't a good fit for us, and who our values, and
Just so our audience knows, Wayne is your private money lender?
he's one. Yes, he's our
Not so private anymore.
Well, I'm not private. I to be honest with you, well, Wayne and Rena is his wife, but their family is, we've fostered a relationship over the years where, it's been more than just business transactions at times. The business is business, but then there's also been, other opportunities to help each other and stuff. It's just great people. And Chris Sissel, we wouldn't have Chris Sissel without Wayne, because Wayne introduced us to Chris, and Brad is a partner of with Wayne on a lot of different projects, and and businesses and stuff, and we wouldn't know Brad if it wasn't for that. It's just there's and then Maritza, our current contractor who we use, and it's just all these different people, I believe, have came at different times in our life that have shaped in who we're and where we're at today. We're blessed to be surrounded around Sissel and Wayne and Brad, and even Adam, and these different people that are in the mix, and Maritza, and it's just what a dream to have who we have and what we have today, compared to me and Erin in the car with an old buddy of mine trying to run properties, and trying to fill out repair estimates, and trying to today we can get an address, and we can look at pictures, and we can make a decision in 3, 4, or 5 minutes. Right. We can lock up a deal if you give us the address, and once Sissel tells us ARV, or we come up with our own ARV, we'll lock it up right now. Back then we would have had to go look at it, come back, look. It would have took many hours to
Drive the neighborhood.
to make those decisions. But by working different neighborhoods, getting to know different areas, we've flipped in a lot of different areas. So there's probably, I don't know, there's a few zip codes we haven't touched, but not many in Fresno, to be honest with you. Right. And we've flipped all the way to Visalia and Dinuba and Reedley and Selma, and Madeira, and so the more you do, the more you get to know, and we constantly stay on top of the market, daily with where sales are at.
Absolutely. So what relationships, if someone's getting into this business right now, what relationships should they be focusing on developing right now?
All of them. Every one of them is important.
Yeah, but I think an investor-friendly agent, first and foremost.
Yes.
And that's what you have with Chris.
Oh yeah.
And
expand on that for a second. I want to get to all the relationships, but why an investor-friendly agent?
because they know the business, they know what we're going to do with the property. We have worked with we haven't worked with. We've seen other investors try to work with agents, and they're not investor friendly, and it's they don't understand the financing. They don't understand what the end result is. They're trying to sell this property to them as they're going to live in it forever and ever, and it's like, no, you're not getting it. You don't understand. And we've tried to help people along the way. It's like, look, you need to really find an investor friendly agent that knows what your end game is going to be. You're not going to live in this thing.
And with investor-friendly agents, the key to that is an investor-friendly agent is someone that's willing to give in the early stages of that relationship. They're going to give you comps. They're going to give you ARVs. They're going to and do this quickly, and they're going to give a lot before they get their first deal. But they also understand. They're investing on the front end, just like any other relationship. You got to invest in relationships. It takes work on both parts, and you got to give. And an investor-friendly agent is going to give, and then once that deal comes together, you're going to give that deal to that person to list. There's no doubt. And for me and Erin, if we buy a wholesale deal, and when we're done with it, Sissel's marketing it. Only way there's another agent going to market one of our deals is if that agent brought it and it was negotiated on the front end because they brought the deal, we got to give it back to them. Then that's negotiated. If it ain't negotiated, every deal we get, we're giving back to Sissel.
That's great. So let me ask you a question. Does Sissel, and this is for our audience to understand what to look for in an investor-friendly agent, is Sissel bringing you off-market stuff as well as on-market? Okay.
Yeah, and he's in a broker, so anything that's in-house, they know that he's tied to flippers that can close the deals, can close them quick. There's other agents that bring deals too. All of our deals, we have zero marketing budget, by the way. We spend $0 on marketing and never have. We've never, there was one year we did a $5,000 mail campaign. We did some bandit signs. I learned
purchasing from a wholesaler. Would you consider that a marketing budget, or would you just?
No, they're bringing it. They're spending the money.
Exactly.
We spent $0. They sent us an email or a text. We're good in with all the Mag Airbnb and Justin and Don Costa, Dean Rogers, anybody that's wholesaling that's actually you got deals in the pipeline.
Right.
We've bought from all of them. They know we'll close them. We can close them quick. If we tell them we'll take it, they know we're solid.
Hey, Fearless Flipping community, we are taking a quick break from the podcast to talk about Airbnb. For those of you that don't know, I have built much of my residual income around Airbnb, despite a lot of other investors being really excited about long-term renters. I was not. I saw an opportunity with Airbnb to get to my goals faster, to get more cash flow, and to pay off my houses quicker too. So instead of being really happy like a lot of other investors are with $200 to $300 of cash flow every single month, I've turned my renters and rentals into over $1,000 on average of cash flow every single month. So if you want to learn more about Airbnb, my systems, where I pick my Airbnbs, how I communicate with guests. Maybe you've already got Airbnb as a business on the side right now, but you want to take it to the next level. I am absolutely here to help you. You can book a free consultation with me about Airbnb. Learn more by booking at fearlessflipping.com/consultation, and you get me for 30 minutes for free. That's right, 30 minutes absolutely free. And that's once again fearlessflipping.com/consultation, and I'm looking forward to helping you conquer Airbnb investing.
we're in the exact same line, and I don't know what your reasoning is behind it, but my reasoning behind this exact same type of marketing of relationships and networking is that I want my time to go towards the things that are important for my business.
Right.
And if for you, what I've understood and what I've really gathered from you guys is you want to do volume, and but at the same time you want to put care into every single project.
Yes.
And for me, on my side of my business, I see my flips as kind of my bonus and my Airbnb and rentals as my main stream of income.
Right.
And so if I'm spending time going and finding flips, which are essentially my bonus, well, then it's taken away from the main thing,
Right.
which is trying to find more properties to Airbnb. So I'm okay with making $20,000 to $25,000 on a deal if you bring it to me versus making $40,000 on it if I had to cold call for an entire week to find that deal.
Correct.
Right.
Which is exactly what you just mentioned. Your agents and your wholesalers are bringing to you. So
And private money people are bringing deals.
Yeah, that's great.
I tell you, we're blessed because someone brings a deal and we can come to an agreement, and we'll do the deal.
It's great.
If you bring it,
So good.
bring the money and the deal. All we got to do is our piece, and we're all winning. It's all good.
Let me ask you a question. Still on the investor-friendly agent. Let's say the investor-friendly agent understands the numbers. They understand what you're going to do with it. They're investing in you, but at the end of the day, they haven't invested in themselves to go find off market. They're only bringing you on market. And for that reason, as you know, there's just not much of a margin these days with on market. How would you? And I say that because I know a few other people, including myself at one point, that had agents like that I knew were busting their butt, and I want to reward them, but at the same time, the deals that they're bringing me, I could just go on Redfin and find myself and take some time to do.
Well, as long as you're having that honest conversation and then what your expectations is, and if they're not willing to, come to the table and do that, then you know that your relationship has gone as far as it can go.
Yeah.
We've been very honest on the front end, like with Chris. We give everything back. We just, we don't really expect it, but in a good working relationship, they give back 100%. Bring in pocket listings and anything that's floating around, and I think it's give and take. And if you feel like that you're going to give more than that person's willing, then it's probably not a good relationship. If they're just going to provide you comps and ARV, that's just a couple minute deal. But for us, we've built a relationship to where we trust his numbers. You got to also be able to trust agents' ARVs, their perspectives. You also got to run your own ARVs and stuff and see if they're in line, because at the end of the day, if they say that we can sell this property for $250 and we're buying it at $150 and we know the rehab's $50, and we get down and put it on the market and they can't produce, that's a problem.
Yeah.
Because you got one job, and that your job is to sell it, and you already told us for that.
Right.
So.
But one thing with Chris is that he's very conservative on his ARV. So I know in the back of my mind, it's like, okay, this is worst case scenario. It will list for this, but I know in the back of my mind, it's going to go for more.
That's great.
Right.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So moving away from that, the original question that I had asked was, what other relationships? So aside from investor-friendly agents, what other ones would you suggest?
Hard money.
Hard money,
Hard
yeah.
money is important for people that are new. There's two big hard money people in town that have been doing it a long time. California Funding, Mark Navarro. You got Zinc Financial. They're both good. They both have their pluses and minuses. If it wasn't for hard money, we wouldn't have done our first 5 deals.
Wow.
Everything was financed, but through hard money. Wasn't long after that. We used hard money on a couple of situations where it made sense, but 90% of our deals are private money today.
Nice.
We have zero money in the deal. Purchase and rehab, everything's 100% private.
That's great.
Yeah.
And that's the way to go.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
It's a true blessing.
And we have structured deals so many different ways. There's sometimes it's a set 10%, or it's this, that, and sometimes we've done deals to where 50-50 split no matter what. you know, 75-25, because if someone brought the deal, they're 100% funding it and we're flipping it, they get 75% of the profit, we get 25. We've done a deal that way too. What do we do? They brought the deal and the money. So,
great.
you know, it's still a win-win,
Oh,
right?
yeah, absolutely.
So, I think every deal is unique, every relationship's unique, and, you know, at the end of the day, it's how can we make a win-win and help each other,
That's great.
you know,
Okay, so money is another one.
right?
Contractor.
Contractor is,
So I've got a question about that. In the beginning, as a new investor, there's a lot of investors, not a lot of contractors.
right.
So I tell people, yes, I networked my way to finding the right contractors, but I want to hear how you found your right contractors. And if you're going to network your way to finding a contractor, how did you do that in order to provide, I guess provide value, but at the same time, there's a lot of investors that are just so skeptical about just giving out their contractor's name and number because they want them to be working on their own. So how do you help someone get over that?
Well, for us, we share our contractors' information to everybody we come in contact with.
They got to eat too.
They got to eat too. I mean, it doesn't matter to me. We get on. We give back to Fortune Builders twice a year. Every time they come into Fresno, we're on that bus, and we're this last time we brought our contractor on the bus.
Nice.
And
awesome.
and our agent. Our agent brings another agent, so that agent can be dedicated to them because our agent can't be dedicated to everybody else. An agent is difficult, but like I said from the beginning, you can't keep it unless you give it away, right? So if we can't keep it busy because we ain't got enough deals, then they got a team to support and an opportunity. We know that if we bring enough deals, she's gonna, that team is gonna be busy enough with us that it works,
Absolutely.
And I would honestly tell you the one big thing we've learned: always have more than one contractor. Always have abilities to get the job done regardless if a contractor can or not. So if you have to sub it, because at the end of the day, you as the investor have to make sure the deal gets done, and no matter what that takes. If you have to go through multiple contractors and hire people independently and manage it yourself, we've done that.
Okay.
So we're getting the job done, bottom line.
Even if you're not ready to use that contractor, you keep them on the on the Rolodex to make sure that you're going to get that job done.
Well, we do, like this in the last couple of years, we do a lot of flips, and there's a lot of, we do a lot of social media marketing, and our name has gotten out there. So that there's always people wanting to get your business when they know you got business, So then people start competing to get that work, It's just part of the way life operates, right?
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely. So now I know that your version and my version of this last relationship has been one of a paid version, but mentor, right?
Right.
Coaching, education, someone that will help you to be able to make those right decisions along the way so that you're not making the mistakes. Has that been mainly Fortune Builders, or has that been other people as well?
Both.
I think both, yeah.
Both. We have some very close people in our life, right? That we trust unheartedly, that we're willing to share 100% the real and raw, and hear that information and take that as value of before we make our own decisions, and that's personally and financially. It's good to have somebody that you can trust to be able to help you make those decisions when they need to be made, and not just go off of what we perceive or we feel or we think, because sometimes even our thinking could be a little conspired besides some of the things that are going on or what we're experiencing or what's happening, So having an outside person you can trust give you constructive, honest, and real information is key.
Absolutely. So are there any relationships currently that you're looking for that you feel like are missing from your business?
Well, no, we're always looking for contractors.
Okay.
So always. It's nothing personal, Maritza. We love you. But
You're getting too busy for us.
if Maritza, and her dad and them, because they're wonderful people, love them to death.
Yes.
They're like family to us. We want to take care of them as they take care of us. But if their plate's full, we always want to have somebody else. So if we have more plates to feed people, we want to make sure we can do that.
That's awesome.
So-
Okay, cool. We've heard a lot from Cleadus. I know you said he's the relationship man, but there's got to be some stories that you have as well that maybe from contractors or from Chris or from private money where it's just been like, man, what would we have done if we did not have this person on our team? Is there anything that comes to mind?
I'm also a firm believer things happen for a reason, and I think everybody was put into our life at the perfect moment. So as our journey grows, I'm excited to see who else enters our life. Just like with you and I being in the same office building, I hear you talk about Airbnb, and I was like, okay, you got my interest peaked. I'm ready to pull the trigger. So I mean, now I'm glad that we're building our relationship too, so I can pick your brain about what to do and what not to do. And I know you have great success over Airbnb, and rentals are great. Don't get me wrong, but Airbnb, man,
It's all about cutting time in half, right?
absolutely. I want to get there quicker.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I think us building a relationship here in the future, I think that's going to be very beneficial for both of us, because I mean, whatever we could give to you, we're more than willing.
I was fishing for a compliment, so thank you for giving that to me. I'm just kidding.
No, seriously.
No, I'm serious. It's been an awesome time getting to know you guys and building this relationship too. And by the way, just in terms of cutting time in half, I've been starting to put my eye on assisted living homes, and I'll have to talk to you about that too.
Okay.
So
Right.
that's been really interesting and a growing thing that I don't think has been touched here in Fresno yet. So I might have just given that away accidentally on air. So, but
That's all right, brother. If it's meant to be, right?
it's meant to be, yeah, abundance mindset, just like what you guys
Exactly.
were talking about.
Right.
Well, thank you so much. This has been just a really, I think, an eye opener, not just for me, but also for our audience, just in terms of the types of relationships that we should have going into this business, how it's helped you, and how it can continue to help you. The big thing I think that I take away from this is honoring those relationships.
Absolutely.
And if you honor those relationships, like you mentioned, you're searching for those, you're searching for the money, but then the money comes back to you because you're honoring exactly what you have set out to do
Right.
with these other people. So, as we mentioned in the last episode, you can go to our show notes with this episode and get everything that you need in terms of contact information for Cleadus and Erin with EVC Homes. They're on social media, they're on Facebook, Instagram, and then evchomesllc.com, where you can also find their contact info. And is there anything else you guys want to add before we
You
check
can
out?
find all three of us at the hub.
Yes, and you can find
Yeah.
all three of us at the hub
Right.
right here in
Exactly.
Tower District of Fresno.
Exactly.
Anything else? We're good?
Aaron?
I feel that the majority of the flippers, the big key players that are in Fresno, they all have a story. They're all very humble. They're all willing to give back to the community. And I think that really sets a precedence for people coming in and just to kind of follow in their footsteps,
Right.
Just keep their same mindset and their business model, because it works.
Absolutely.
If you give yourself 100% to others, it comes back tenfold.
If you give, then you will eventually get, and that's
Right.
exactly how you conquer real estate investing. Thank
Yes.
you so much.
Thank you.
And just like last time, we've got the show notes at fearlessflipping.com/EVC Homes. That is going to be where you're going to find all their contact information and all the recaps of what you learn in both of these episodes with Erin and Cleadus. And I think the big thing that I take away from this is so many people say, hey, don't try to get deals off the MLS. And so for that reason, there's a lot of people that never make relationships with agents. But as you can see, one of the number one relationships that Erin and Cleadus have is their relationship with their realtor, who is investor friendly and looking for deals not only on the MLS, the multiple listing system, but also out there off-market deals. That is a great person to have on your team. I encourage everyone to have someone like that on their team. I do. I hope you will as well. And I hope this helped you to conquer real estate investing today. We'll see you next time.